Oi! Yes. What's going on, you guys? It's late night. It's Wednesday night. We got UFC Vegas 53 coming up this Saturday. We've already went through all 12 fights. I've already given you Uncle Wheezy's ass shaving of the week on Just the Tip last night. But today we're here for Ask Wheezy. We want to see what you guys in the chat need help with. You're probably trying to figure out what your final bets are going to be, and maybe you need some information that only your Uncle Wheezy can bestow upon you with my stats database, with my prop templates, with my matchup templates, with everything that I bring to the table to help you guys analyze fights every week. So it's just an opportunity for us to talk about this particular card, see what questions you guys might have. Let me know what bets you're thinking about making. I'll let you know what I think of them. And I'll let you know what I'm betting this week too. We can bring up my my Bet MMA Tips account here, and you can see where I'm putting my money this week. But let's figure out what you guys want to do today, man. Let's see who's here hanging out in the chat. We got my guy Charles Smith in the room, one of my Twitter guys out there. Good to see you, Charles. Thanks for hanging out. We got Jeremiah Nicola saying, I need some assistance on this card, Unc. Well, I mean, my man, that's what I'm here for, dude. I'm here to assist all of you guys with any of your UFC statistics needs. That's what I'm here to do. But Papa Chuck is in the room saying, bestow your stats, Unc. What is your best six-leg parlay? It can be a mix of money line, over, under, props, etc. Okay, let's have a look-see here. One of my favorite props this week, and here, let's do this. Let me share my screen with you guys so that you can see what's up on my screen, because I got some stats up. I can bring up my my database if need be, and let's see what we got here. We got Bootsy saying hello to everybody out there in YouTube land. He's on a couple of different underdogs this week. He likes Fat Collier. And I believe he's also on Tristan Connolly this week. So we'll see how Bootsy does. But the first leg of this parlay, Papa Chuck, is going to be the over 2.5 in the Vera Font fight. That's at minus 260 right now. So that's a pretty decent parlay piece. Uncle Wheezy's ass shaving of the week is Andre Philly. So let's put the Andre Philly money line in there for the second one. Let's see here. How about the fight doesn't go to decision for the Lacerda Figueiredo fight? And let's see. And then we're going to do the over 2.5 in the Candelario Tiara fight. We're going to throw, can we get a money line in there? Who are we feeling safe about parlaying besides Philly? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. All right, let's chalk up this parlay. And let's put Krzysztof Jotko by decision in there, because that's going to be around plus 200. So that chalks up this parlay real nice. And Jotko is such a good minute winner. If he doesn't get finished, I think that he's going to win this fight. So that's a pretty good spot right there, I feel like. And it'll chalk it up. It'll get us a nice fat line here. And then we just need one more leg. Oh, Gina Mazzani. Do I want to do that? Shannon Young's just not very good. And Mazzani's really good at wrestling and controlling her opponents. Oh, God, I like the fight doesn't go to decision for Greenland Ness. Let's see here. Why don't we do the over 2.5 in the Arlovsky Fat Collier fight, because that one's very unlikely to finish. So that'll be the parlay. Over 2.5 in Font Vera. Over 2.5 in Arlovsky Collier. Andre Philly money line. Krzysztof Jotko by decision. Lacerda Figueiredo fight doesn't go to decision. And Candelario Tiara over 2.5. Ship it. It's probably going to be around plus, like 1,000 or something. It should be minus 300. Alex Ramirez, I see you, Charles Smith. What's up, Alex? Good to see the general in here. Good to see Charles Smith in here, too. We got my guy Lou Betya saying, doing work on the fight studio, so I can't stick around, but job bless you, young man. Right back at you, Lou Betya, the head of engineering at the MMA Engine, you guys. Getting the website ready. We're looking for a early May launch date. We'll let you know when we're really close to it and when we're on the precipice, when you'll be able to get on that MMA Engine. Can't wait to share it with you guys. Big ups, Lou Betya. We got my guy Lamar Lockett out here saying, which fights are safe to go over 1.5 rounds? I'm looking to parlay a few. Well, Lamar, one of the great shows that you're going to have to start watching is Probability on the MMA Engine YouTube channel. That's hosted by Big Brady, and I am on the show as well. I bring my prop template to the show, and let me show you guys my prop template. So, for instance, like right here, this is the Lacerda Figueiredo fight, and I've got the betting lines over here. So let me kind of like zoom in on this for you guys so you can see what's going on. So I've got the fight doesn't go to decision for the Lacerda Figueiredo fight is minus 105. The implied probability of that line is 51.22%. And the divisional finish rate versus the implied probability suggests that we're overpaying at minus 105 for fight doesn't go to decision by 11.4% due to the fact that the implied probability of the fight not going to decision is 51.22 for the line, but we see that the finish rate for the division is only 39.82%. The difference between those two numbers, when you take 0.3982 and you subtract 0.5122, is negative 11.4% or negative 0.1140. So what we do is for the fight goes to decision, the fight doesn't go to decision, the over 2.5, and we know that fights go over 2.5 in the flyweight division since 2013 in 3-round fights. They're going over. The under is 36.2, so it'll be 63.8%. So we can take the implied probabilities of these lines. We can find when we're overpaying or underpaying based on the divisional finish rate. And then we can kind of just use our logic there to determine if it's a bettable line or not. Because in this particular case, for the fight doesn't go to decision, we're overpaying by about 11.4%. So for Lacerda Figueiredo, that at first glance might look like, oh shit, we're overpaying by 11%. No thanks. But check this shit out, you guys. We got to look at the finish rates for both fighters. Now, Figueiredo has only got 2 UFC fights, and Lacerda's only got 1. So that's 3 combined UFC fights. So when we look at the fight doesn't go to decision data here, which is in this row of the prop template, we can see that Lacerda has finished 11 of his 11 wins inside the distance, and 2 of his 2 losses have been finished inside the distance. So Lacerda is actually a killer be killed fighter. All 13 of his fights have finished inside the distance, and he's never even once seen a third round, you guys. So we don't necessarily mind overpaying by about 11% because we're still getting basically, for the fight doesn't go to decision, you guys, a 51%. When we pay minus 105 for fight doesn't go to decision, the bookies are telling us that this should happen about 51.22% of the time. Well, 100% of the time, Lacerda's fights are finishing inside the distance. As a matter of fact, 100% of the time, they're not even seeing the third round. And for Figueiredo, it's 10 of 12 wins coming inside the distance and 2 of 4 losses coming inside the distance. So 12 of his 18 fights, since he has 2 draws, I think, and maybe he's got a draw in no contest or something, but we see that he's finishing inside the distance 66.7%. When we add those 2 together, we see that 25 of these guys' 31 combined fights have finished inside the distance. That's 80% of their fights. But when we get the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 105, the implied probability is only 51%. So the prop template's telling us that for the fight doesn't go to decision, there's a lot of value on this line at about evens because 80.6% of these guys' fights are finishing inside the distance. So Lamar, if you're looking for over 1.5s, This one is underpriced by about 3.62%, but Daniel Lacerda has never been over 1.5, so we don't want to touch that one. So let's look here. We've got Arlovsky against Fat Collier, for instance. The over 1.5 is overpriced by 20.38% based on the divisional finish or the divisional over 1.5 rate, which is 56%. So we see a 76% implied probability, but only a 56% of heavyweight fights go over 1.5. So we're overpaying based on this minus 325 betting line by 20.38%. However, Collier and Arlovsky are not finishing fights under 1.5 unless they're fighting a guy like Chase Sherman. And even Arlovsky couldn't finish Chase Sherman, but Fat Collier finished him in the very first round. So for the Elkins Connolly over 1.5, it says we're underpaying for it or overpaying for it by about 4.8%. That could be a decent one to take. Jotko Mearshart over 1.5. We're overpaying by only 3.22%. That could be a good one because Jotko's fights very rarely go under 1.5. I think he's had one fight that's been under 1.5 thus far in the UFC, or maybe two. Gordon Dawson, let's see here. Over 1.5, we're overpaying by 12.23% at minus 375. And Gordon's been finishing all of his losses, and Dawson's been finishing all of his losses. And Dawson's got an over 90% finish rate in his wins. So I wouldn't do the over 1.5 for this. I wouldn't do the over 1.5 for Lacerda Figueiredo. The over 1.5 for Font Vera looks very safe to me, but I like the over 2.5 for that one as well. Philly Brito over 1.5 says we're overpaying by about 3.5%, so it's pretty closely lined there. But you get the idea, Lamar. We're going to have a lot of these over 1.5s. We're going to be looking at this on probability. We'll give you a longer look, and we'll go through every single fight and give you our best bets based on what the template is telling us when we get to work tomorrow on probability. And Lamar is saying, or make some big straight bets pending on your advice. Yeah. I'll let you know what I'm doing here. As a matter of fact, let me bring up my Bet MMA tips so we can talk about some of these bets that I've already made here. So I'll log in and then we can go to my profile, and you can see my betting record here. Unlike Smooth Jimmy, I'm not right 52% of the time. I'm only wrong, or I'm only right 44% of the time. But, a 3% return on investment. I started tracking, lost units immediately, then made a little bit back, and then got my ass shaved in 4 out of 5 straight events. Was ready to fucking, hang myself from a rope in the closet right about here. But since then, we've been on a steady up streak here. Going from down 18 units to being up like 6 units. So, in 2022, I'm up about 24 units thus far. And here are the bets that I'm making for the next couple of cards. I've got a bet on Tracy Cortez at minus 170. I've got the Brandon Royval, Matt Schnell under 2.5 at plus 120 for the pay-per-view coming up next week. And for this week, I got Grant Dawson at minus 144. That line is moved. I've got the Jotko by decision here at plus 200. I've got the Mearshart scorecards equals no action at plus 120 for 2 units. So that's the finish only prop for Gerald Mearshart there. And I've got the Vera scorecards equals no action. So the finish only prop for Marlon Vera, 2.3 units at minus 115. So those are the bets that I have made thus far this week. And I will let you know if I add on anything. But if you ever want to know what I'm betting, all this is free. You can go to betmma.tips / Uncle Wheezy and check out all the bets that I have for free for upcoming fights. So anytime you guys want to know what I'm betting, you can just check it out right there, you guys. Just my 2 cents saying, what's up, Wheezy? What's up, dude? We got Zach Singleton saying, oi, what's up, Zach? Good to see you in here, brother. We got Just My 2 cents saying, sup, boys? Lamar Lockett saying, I'm in Chicago too, and this weather sucks. Dude, it won't. We had one, day where it got up to 80 degrees and then all of a sudden just back down to 40, almost fucking snowing. It's bullshit, Lamar, man. We deserve better weather than this. We got my guy Gutierrez Silva saying, oi. And we've got Alex Ramirez, the general, in here taking notes. And Charles Smith saying, Wheezy, the best uncle in YouTube. I appreciate you, Charles. Much love to you, brother. And we got Alex saying, what's up to Sense? And Charles, I see you. And just my 2 cents saying, what's up to the general? Zach saying, I'm thinking funny Philly money line parlayed with the Mazzani over 2.5. Okay, look, I like the Philly money line, Zach. That's my ass shaving of the week. But here's my problem with this, the Mazzani over 2.5. Gina Mazzani has 5 pro losses, and she's been finished in 4 of them. And Shanna Young has 4 pro losses, and she's been finished in 2 of them, and she's been finished in 2 of her 3 UFC losses. So if you just talk about their UFC losses, we got 2 of 3 for Young coming inside the distance, and 4 of 5 coming inside the distance for Mazzani. So that is 6 of 8. 75% of their combined UFC wins losses have come inside the distance. So neither one of these ladies is very durable. And we saw Shanna Young absolutely death gas against Priscilla Cachoeira. That being said, this is a much different matchup. Shanna Young doesn't bring the same kind of power and pressure that Cachoeira does, and that could, really kind of like take you, make you tired a lot more quickly than you normally would be. But the thing about Mazzani that bothers me too is I don't know if she's a natural 125er. I think she cuts an absolute shit ton of weight to make 125, and I don't know if she's compromised because of that, because she is absolutely huge for the division. And like, her wrestling is really good, you guys. And let's not forget that she's actually finished 1 of her 2 UFC wins, and she's got a 72% finish rate in her 7 wins. So Mazzani's a big favorite, and she's finished 5 of her 7 wins. And in their 8 combined UFC losses, 6 of them have been inside the distance. So you're paying an over 2.5 here on Mazzani, right? Let's look at the prop template, you guys. The over 2.5 is overpriced by about 3.83%. But look at the over here. The problem for the over for the fight goes to decision bets, right? So we don't have much for Shanna Young because she's never won. But when we look, only 3 of their 10 combined UFC fights have went to decision. So that's 30% worse than the implied probability of the fight goes to decision line, and 29% worse than the divisional decision rate. So you're really overpaying for this fight goes to decision and for the over 2.5 for this particular fight, according to the prop template, because of the 7 of their 10 combined UFC fights have finished inside the distance, and you're overpaying for it. So I would not recommend betting the over 2.5 for this particular fight. I'd find something else to parlay it with that you like, because I am actually probably going to be taking a poke at the fight doesn't go to decision here at plus money, because the fact that these ladies have not been very durable. But I appreciate you asking that, Zach. We got Nick Sisson saying, my man, what's up, Nick? And we got Just My 2 cents saying, chances Philly stops Brito. Philly's a big parlay piece for me, but looking at Philly by TKO plus 225 as well, potentially. Okay, so let's look at the stats here. Philly in his UFC career is 17 fights, 9 wins. 3 of those 9 wins have come inside the distance. Joe Anderson Brito has been finished in 2 of his 3 career losses, once by knockout, once by submission. And Philly is primarily a knockout guy, a 57% finish rate, but 43% by knockout, only 14% by sub. So 3 submissions and 9 knockouts for Andre Philly. So let's look at Joe Anderson Brito and see who knocked him out and how long ago that was, what level of opponent it was. So Brito, Look, I think Philly's better everywhere than Brito. But the problem that I have, and one of the reasons that it took me so long to come up with an ass shaving of the week this week, you guys, is because Philly will engage in wars, and I think that's where Brito thrives. Brito throws 100% of his force into every strike that he throws, whether it's a kick or a punch, and because of that, he has a hard time pacing himself, and he gasses out quickly. So he will mix in his striking with some wrestling attempts to try to get some top control and rest, and then get back up and start throwing heat again, fall into another takedown attempt or a clinch and rest. So I don't think I think Philly might just engage him and continue to not let him clinch and be in that war. And that's where Brito is going to be at his most dangerous. So a lot of wins in a row here. Yeah. And I mean, like in these two losses, I mean, came a long time ago to Henrique Gomez in 2015 and to Rafael Mojera in 2013. And since he lost by decision to Algio, this guy hasn't been finished since 2015. So, yeah, I mean, I think Philly is live to knock out anybody because he's a very dangerous striker, but I wouldn't bet on it. Just my 2 cents. That's just the way I feel about it here. I think he's better everywhere than Brito, like I said, but I think the minute winning and staying safe is going to be his best path to victory here. And he should have that game plan as a veteran that he is to know that he can't get too dangerous and he can't get too cheeky against this guy as dangerous as Brito. And we got Chicken Dinner in the room saying, Uncle Wheezy, what's up? Janet, it's good to see you in here. We got Lou Betcha saying Brady will be using it this weekend for his breakdowns, and I'm using it Friday night for the bet elevator in case you guys want some sneak peeks. Nice. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, the fight studio. That's great. We're going to be checking that out. Going to be debuting on YouTube. Looking forward to that. Daz Files saying, "Oi!" And the General is saying, "Let's go, Wheezy." What's up, General? And he also gives us a big hearty, "Oi!" Papa Chuck saying, "What's your favorite Chicagoland-based beer?" Good question. I love Maplewood Brewery, and I think that Hop Butcher is a brewery that is local, not to Chicago, but to the suburbs of Chicago. Noon Whistle is in Lombard, is absolutely fantastic. I'm a fan of the hazy IPAs, so Noon Whistle. Maplewood is one of my favorites. The Les Jus from Alarmist Brewery on Peterson Avenue in Sauganash is fantastic. I like a lot of Chicago beers, but Hop Butcher consistently has some of the best double dry hopped IPAs that I've ever had. Juicy as fuck, full of flavor. You're making me thirsty for some beer, you guys. Jeremiah saying, I got stoned and forgot you were live, but I'm back. Let's stack them. Let's go, Jeremiah. Silky B saying, two best fights for violence, excluding Romanov. Without question, Figueiredo against Lacerda, because Lacerda is a kill or be killed fighter, and Figueiredo's finished 10 of his 12 wins inside the distance. And then, so I think Gordon versus Dawson is a very sneaky violent spot here. Another spot where 100% of Grant Dawson's 1 losses have come inside the distance, and 100% of Jared Gordon's 4 pro losses have come inside the distance. So 5 combined losses, all of them inside the distance. And then we combine that with the fact that Dawson has finished 4 of his 6 UFC wins, and he's got an 89% finish rate in 17 professional wins. So 15 of his 17 career wins coming inside the distance. And it's a big plus money number, you guys, for the fight doesn't go for this particular fight. But I think my second favorite spot, so yeah, plus 155 is a 39% implied probability. The divisional finish rate is telling us that we're getting an 11% edge on the books, paying only 155 versus the divisional finish rate. And then if we look at the finish rates of these two fighters, 28 of 41 of their combined pro wins coming in, and losses coming inside the distance, almost 70%. We're paying only 39.22. And 8 of their 16 UFC fights combined have finished inside the distance. That's 50%. And like I say, we're only paying 39.22%. So that's 11% better than the line, 11.78% better. So we like all this. This is really good stuff. That's a good line to bet the fight doesn't go to decision. But Gabe Green against Johan Liness is another good one as well. And the fight doesn't go to decision is minus 205 there. So it is saying it's juiced up pretty bad. But 17 of their 21 combined fights have finished inside the distance. That's 13.7%, better than the implied probability of the line at 67.21%, and 32% better than the divisional finish rate of 48%. So, yeah, that's one that's likely to finish inside the distance, but it's a little bit overpriced. So I'm going to say still Green Liness is good, but you're overpaying a little bit at minus 205. I think Mazzani Young and Dawson Gordon are sneaky plus money spots for fight doesn't go to decision. But without question, it's the Lacerda Figueiredo fight that is my favorite violence spot here, you guys. And especially at 51% implied probability, I think it's an absolute bargain when you see the 40% better than the divisional finish rate and the almost 30% better than the implied probability of the line here at 80% of their 31 combined fights finishing inside the distance. So, Lou Betch is saying Half Acre and Dovetail are great Chicago breweries, but I'm not a Wheezy beer snob. Dude, Half Acre is right over at Lincoln Avenue and Kyler, I believe. It's a beautiful little spot. I think they moved now actually over further north, but that's a great one, Lou. And yeah, Dovetail, I believe, is over there on Ravenswood in the like Ravenswood and Wilsonish. And it's right, or no, right, it's like between. Well, what you guys don't care. You're not all from Chicago. Ravenswood and Irving Parkish there, Dovetail, really good stuff. Alex Ramirez saying Dawson by decision. That's not bad. I mean, I like I say, I think it's a sneaky fight doesn't go to decision, but it is, it's plus money. So the bookies are saying that this thing goes to decision more times than not. And Gordon is a very competent grappler too. So if Dawson does win, it's going to be hard for him to submit somebody like Gordon, who's never been submitted. Mushroom saying, "What's up, Uncle Wheezy?" Oi, what's up, Mushroom? Good to see you in here, man. And we got Silky B saying, "Awesome, Wheezy. Sorry for jumping the probability gun. No problem at all, man. Look, it's Ask Wheezy, man. We're helping you guys out with the stats that are available. You guys have questions. I got answers for you, man. I mean, like, what's the point of me keeping all these stats to myself? Like, Tajik Bey, the GOAT, in the room, dropping the news about a really good fight that's coming up. I believe he's saying that the UFC London main event is going to be Tom Aspinall against Curtis Blades. Wow, that is a hell of a main event, and I am looking forward to that. Tajik Bey, the GOAT. Big ups to you, brother. We got Monk saying, "What's up, Wheezy? First time, long time. Is there any value on Tristan Connolly this week? Aggregate line is plus 143, plus 140. Fight doesn't go to decision. Thoughts? I'll hang up and listen." Thank you for hanging up and listening so we don't get the feedback here on YouTube. And we are talking about the Tristan Connolly, Darren Elkins fight. And we're looking for the fight doesn't go to decision at about plus 140. So I'll change it from 150 to 140 here. That's a 41.67% implied probability. Where the divisional finish rate is 43%. So we're actually getting a 1.37% edge over the books by only paying plus 140 for the fight doesn't go here. We don't have, see, the problem is that Conley only has 2 fights, but Elkins has 27 of them. But with the UFC finish rates, because we got a big sample size for Elkins, it's saying that we're overpaying on the implied probability of the line about 4.6% and by about 6% versus the divisional finish rate based on what these guys' finishing rates are. On the aggregate numbers overall, they're much better because we see that Connolly is a finisher in his own right. However, the problem is that that was all regional scene competition, so this is a step up. So it looks to me like it's a pretty fairly priced line here. Yeah, this is one I would just flat out stay away from. I get the angle for the fight doesn't go to decision here. It looks like Elkins almost died in there a few times, and Tristan Connolly, has finished 13 of his 14 wins inside the distance, but he's durable. He's only been finished in 2 of 7 losses, and Elkins has been finished in half of his losses. So, yeah, it's probably, I don't think there's that much value on it. I would need that fight doesn't go to get run up to about plus 160, plus 165 for me to get a little more interested in it. Papa Chuck saying, if Tajik Bey and you fought, who'd win and how? Man, I don't know, dude. I'm getting old, and my fighting days are probably completely behind me. My judo level never got higher than orange belt, you guys, as a youngster. But yeah, I mean, I'm a big dude, but I'm not trying to fight Tajik Bey. You know what? I think Tajik Bey would win via Uncle Wheezy death gas. It would be, I think my conditioning is just not suited for any kind of combat sports at this point. I would need to be in the gym for a good 3 months to even suggest that I could go 2 minutes hard. 2 minutes hard as a fighter is like fucking an hour on a bike. I mean, it's crazy. So yeah, I'm not looking to fight Tajik Bey. And I think if we did fight, that I would death gas and just completely die in there. Brady Stevens saying, thinking Philly, Dawson, Collier Arlovsky over 2.5, Romanov inside the distance. That's a nice 4-legger there. Pretty safe. I don't know who the bed shitter is in there, man. I mean, that I like that, Brady. I think that's a really good 4-legger. I'd be interested to know what the what the line is on that. Oxygen 3000 saying 3-leg underdog parlay. Mearshart, Vera, and who else do you think? The underdogs that I like this week are Tristan Connolly. I think that's an interesting line just because I don't know if Elkins has got anything left. Collier could be interesting. Francisco Figueiredo could be interesting as well. And Candelario, I think, is interesting. Look, Figueiredo, I think, is the best option because we know that Figueiredo's more experienced. We know that he's probably got better training partners than Lacerda. He's had 2 UFC fights already. But, the guy's been to a decision a few times. He's shown that he can go a full 3 rounds and a hard 3 rounds. This guy De Silva's first round or bust. So I think that if Figueiredo gets out of the first round and he didn't get massively fucked up in the first round, I think it's going to be his fight to win. And I think he kind of easily wins the last 2 rounds because Lacerda doesn't know any other way to fight. He's never shown any kind of patience. He's never shown the ability to really go out there and execute a game plan. Plus, we don't really have much film on the guy. But the film that we do have, this guy comes out and he's trying to punt your head into the upper deck in the first 10 seconds. Head kick after head kick after head kick, overhand right, head kick, overhand right, head kick, blast double. Then he just starts going for submissions. I mean, he's so balls out that if he doesn't get it done early, I think he'll completely gas out and Figueiredo could cruise to a victory, winning rounds 2 and 3 here. So I'll give you Figueiredo as my third underdog, just because I think that there's a lot of places that we know a little bit more about Figueiredo. He's a little more experienced. He's fought the better brand of competition. His losses are to John Lineker, Luis Nogueira, and a guy, 14-4 guy, I forget what his name is, and then Malcolm Gordon, who just broke Dennis Bondar's arm in like inside of 90 seconds. So, yeah, we'll give you Figueiredo as that next leg. AO 22, could the Arlovsky fight end in a finish? If Collier wins, could he score well in a decision? You're probably talking about DraftKings. So, in the advanced stats here, you guys, and by the way, the stats are available for free in the description of the video, so you can download all this shit. But if Collier wins, could he score well in a decision? Well, here we've got the DraftKings stats, and we see that Andrei Arlovsky here is only allowing 2.26 raw DraftKings points per minute outside of wins and losses, right? So that means over a 15-minute period, he allows about 33 points. And then if you beat him by decision, you get another 30. That'd be like 63 points. Collier scores a little bit better than 2.26, which is what he allows. Collier's scoring over 3 points a minute, if I remember correctly. Collier is scoring 3.17 points. But the thing is that Collier only has 4 takedowns in 10 UFC fights. And Andrei Arlovsky has very good takedown defense. So he's unlikely to score well in a win because you need knockdowns, takedowns, and control time to pile up DraftKings points. So this is one of the fights that I would most try to ignore because there's very little grappling upside. Even the books are saying that there's a very little chance that this fight finishes inside the distance. Could it end in a finish? Probably not. Here's why. Jake Collier, in his, at 265, so we've got 4 fights. 2 of them have finished inside the distance. But look at Arlovsky. Decision. Submission against Aspinall. Decision. Gets knocked out by Rosenstruik. Decision. I mean, this is going back to 2017, you guys. This is, what's the count? It's 157 to 170, so that's 14. 14 fights, 12 decisions for Arlovsky. So, I mean, it's not likely that this fight finishes inside the distance, but it's a heavyweight mixed martial arts fight. Anything can happen. Thanks for the feedback, Wheezy. I'm going to just stick with the parlay piece for Philly. You got it, man. Anytime. This is what I do, dude. NHJ saying Vera round 4-5 decision. I like that, man, because Vera really does put it on his opponents late. And I think that that's his best path because Rob Font is very durable and he's never been knocked out either. So I think if you are going to knock out Rob Font, it's going to take a long fucking time. Nick Sisson saying, where are you in Chicago? I was born in Cook County Hospital and I used to live in Des Plaines and Arlington Heights. So I was born in Michael Reese Hospital in Chicago, and that hospital no longer exists, but I grew up in Park Ridge. And after I got done going to school at the Harvard of the Midwest, Northern Illinois University, go Huskies, I wound up moving to the north side of Chicago in Uptown, where my brother had a house. He recently sold that house and moved to Indianapolis. So now I have moved over to the Avondale neighborhood. I'm kind of like over by California and Diversey. And we got Matt the Mix saying Alter Brewery, brother. All right, nice, man. And Matt saying, am I in the Chicago suburbs? I am in the city. I am in Avondale, Matt. We got Chris Calanza saying, what up, Wheezy? Can you give the chat your favorite college road trip story? Oh, fuck, man. God, there's so many college road trip stories. And I mean, almost all of them involve so much illegal activity that I don't know what I can tell you on. Let's do this, Chris. Let's do this. How about you and I talk, because me and this guy, we went to college together and we've got like, shit, man. Me and Chris got some fucking stories, dude, that I'd love to share with you guys in person, not on YouTube sometime. But we got to talk, Chris. You and I, we got to come up with what the best road trip story to tell was. That one to Iowa where Gaynor had the loaf of bread and we lost Vaneco, or oh man, like any of those Mardi Gras trips were crazy, man. Oh, we had some good ones, man. We had some good ones. I'm gonna have to come up with a road trip story for you guys. Put it into story time with Uncle Wheezy during the next Just the Tip. Sean V saying Wheezy 2024. What's up, Sean? Good to see you, man. Papa Chuck saying, fun fact, I used to rent the apartment above Uncommon Ground. I know exactly where that is, on the corner of Clark and Grace. I miss those Wrigleyville days. Damn, a lot of Chicago people in the house, man. I love it. Yeah, man, right in the heart of Wrigleyville there. Right down the street from a place where I have spent dozens of hours of my teens, 20s, 30s, and 40s. Cabaret Metro Smart Bar. I even DJ'd down there one night, I think. I was fucked up that night. But yeah, dude, Metro, Joe Shanahan, I've seen over 200 concerts at the Metro. One of my favorite places to be in Chicago, right down the street from that Uncommon Ground, man. Tajik Bey saying draw plus 5,000. Dude, Tajik Bey, whenever you say draw, my ears perk up. I mean, we've got these draws, and I don't know if you're talking about the Gordon Dawson fight, because I could see a 10-8 round happening there. And we just had a draw in a Dawson fight. Yeah, man, very interesting. Papa Chuck saying at Tajik Bey, I agree. The classic Wheezy draw plus 6,500. Yep. Jeremiah Nicola saying four-legger, Gina Mazzani, Tristan Connolly, Fat Collier, Rob Font plus 1423. Yeah, and I like the Tristan Connolly shot. And Jake Collier's got a shot. That's going to be a fucking close fight, dude. That is going to be a close fight. But Collier, if he can bring the conditioning to push the pace and the volume that he showed against Felipe, I think he can maybe win this fight. That's interesting. Brady Stevens saying, I can't bet Figueiredo after he screwed me over when he fought Malcolm Gordon. I get it, man. I get it. I've never had my money on Francisco Figueiredo. So I just think it's an interesting spot for him. This De Silva guy is not very good. He's so front-loaded. He's got no idea how to pace himself. He's got no idea how to win minutes. He's just trying to kill you. And at this level, man, I just don't know if that works. You've got to get some pretty low-level opponents, and Figueiredo's just got twice as many fights as him, like 3 times as much professional cage time. So I don't know, man. But yeah, I've actually got a small bet on De Silva, but I got a 50% profit boost. So I got him at plus 130. And I'm going to bet the fight doesn't go to decision for that fight too. Jeremiah is saying hedge with Cheeto. Oh, yeah. And you could hedge with Cheeto as the last leg if those first 3 legs come in. And that's always the nicest thing. It's a great idea to have the juiciest leg of your parlay be that last leg so that you can hedge out for decent plus money on that last leg if the first 3 come in. Papa Chuck saying, which fights on this card have a chance to end in an Uncle Wheezy draw? Whoo, boy. I would say, well, we gotta pick fights that could potentially, like Candelario Tiara could be potentially a draw. Mazzani Young, I don't think so. Levy Breeden, I don't think so. Greenland Ness, I don't think sees the scorecards. Sherman Romanov would have to see the scorecards. I mean, Christ, that should be plus 50,000 for a draw. Lacerda Figueiredo, no way. Jotko Mearshart, I don't think I've ever seen either one of those guys win a 10-8 round. Elkins Connolly, that could be a draw spot. Gordon Dawson could be a draw spot. I think that this one finishes inside the distance most likely, but Collier Arlovsky could be an eye poke and a draw there. Yeah. And Font Vera probably not, man, but you never know. It's a 5-round fight. I would say Elkins Connolly and Gordon Dawson would be my 2 favorite shots to actually have a draw. And Mushroom, my guy Mushroom is in the room saying, Uncle Wheezy, I live in Philly. The closest UFC event to me is July 30th. Yeah, I got to get out to Philly because I got some peeps out there. My guy Lou Betcha is in that neighborhood-ish. And I've always wanted to just stop by Henzo Gracie, Philly, and watch those fucking boys over there just shave ass like Sabatini and Brady. How fun would it be to be in front of the window watching those dudes roll around? That'd be really cool, man. Blood Money saying, Wheezy, what's up, brother? Great show as always. Good to see you in here, Blood Money. Thanks for hanging out. Sergio's a beaut from Elgin. My guy Mike, his mom lives out there. And hell, that's a great thing. Yeah. I mean, Elgin, stand up, baby. I love it. Miguel Baez's wife left him. Yeah, that's a good one, buddy. Mushroom saying, Uncle Wheezy, any idea when the UFC is coming back to Philly? I want to Uber to the event so I can get Keith Peterson drunk during the fights, just like he does. Hell yeah, man. That's for sure. I guess they just said July 30th. Yeah, I mean, you gotta Uber to the event, man, so you can have as much fun as humanly possible. Right. And then Papa Chuck saying, were you sad to see hot dogs go out of business? Oh, definitely, man. Exotic encased meats. I used to wait hours in line just to place an order. The Metro, walk by it every day to get, and the Elephant Gate to boot. Yeah, man. Like I'm right down the street now from where Hot Dogs was. It's now Cafe Tola over there on Roscoe and California, and I'm just a little bit south of there. But yeah, Hot Dogs was incredible, dude. And I'm kind of glad it's not there, because then I would probably be 350 pounds right about now, because I could walk down there daily and just get dogs, and it would be a bad idea. And then we got Mushroom saying July 30th is at Madison Square. Okay, so that's the closest one, man. I guess that's that's a pretty good one. I'm not going to New York. I could tell that for sure. I mean, and we got Davy Boy saying, hey, Wheezy, thanks for all your efforts. I appreciate you, Davy Boy. What? We got UFC Finland, Makwan Amir Khani main event. That's when we're all going to go hang out with our guy, Jarno Portilla, my man. Dude, that would be awesome. Yeah, and it would have to, I mean, like, how could you have a main event in Finland unless it was headlined by Mr. Finland, not Jarno Portilla, the other Mr. Finland, Makwan Amir Khani. Yeah, and it's just so weird because Makwan Amir Khani just does not sound like a Finnish name, but you never know. It's just how the world is crazy. So anyway, man, that's a good one. We would love to see the UFC Finland sometime in the future, man. That'd be cool as shit. And yeah, Davey Boy saying thanks for all your efforts. I appreciate you. Papa Chuck saying when the UFC comes to Chicago, are we all getting together? We would have to. We would absolutely have to, man. Because you know, this is the community that we build here on YouTube. It's crazy to think that how many of you guys right here are people that I could go to the casino with one Saturday, and we could all watch fights and try to stack cash tickets like flapjacks together. So that would be really cool, man. We've got to do it even if there isn't a UFC card, where we all just get together at the sports book or something like that, hang out, have a good time, because it's all about building community, making friends, hanging out with people who have the same interests. And God, we love betting on fights and making money on fights. And then we got, what fighters from the last few UFC events would you cut from the roster? Love the show. Respect. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Let's look at UFC stats. Has the UFC cut Ji-Yeon Kim yet? I would cut her. Let's see here. Dwight Grant, you're cut. Jake Villanueva, you're cut. Cameron Else, cut. Like the effort, but you're cut. Dean Barry, you're cut. Luque versus Muhammad. Let's see here. Wu Yanan, love your effort. You're cut. Not William Knight. Brandon Jenkins, cut. Ellen Nunez, cut. Kevin Kroom, cut. Pay-per-view card. Let's see if there's any cuts on this card. Aljamain Sterling, cut. Khamzat Chimaev, cut. No, I'm just kidding. Not really good cuts on this card, that's for sure. Jared Vandera, I'd cut him, but he takes fights, dude. He'll step up and fight anyone. They already cut Kay Hansen. That was easy. Yeah, those are some good, definitely, that would definitely be some good cuts there. That's just from the last three cards, man. And this is the takeover part 2 saying, Wheezy, love the stats model. Oh, yeah, I know about better. Yeah. What the fuck? This guy's a clown. All right. And then Papa Chuck saying, I'd fly to Chicago from Idaho just to hang out. Yeah, man, that'd be pretty fun, dude. We would definitely have fun. We got, let's see here. Lamar Lockett saying, yeah, Wheezy, meet you fans. Let's get wasted. Let's do it sometime, man. Flapjacks at Stella's in Lakeview. Dude, I'm always up for flapjacks, man, especially after a winning night of bets, man. That's a great way to go. 2 a.m., 3 a.m., you got to get those flapjacks in the belly to soak up all the alcohol, man. Good stuff. The Dream 32 saying, let's kick those bookies in the nut this week. Did 30 hours of tape study total last week for the fights. Was lucky to break even on such a tough night. My wife says I spend too much time on this, but you don't understand it's a lifestyle. I don't devote my life to this. We all do. Yeah, man, it's definitely the kind of thing that, you know, especially as a content creator, I can't half-ass this. If I half-ass this, you know, then you guys are listening to me half-assing something, and it's a bad reflection on me. So, you know, I not only do I accumulate all the stats and update them after every event, but you know, I'm watching tape on all these fighters every damn week. You know, you just have to keep that tape study fresh in your mind. It's such an important part of what we do. Mushroom says, if everyone is going to meet up, it has to be in Vegas. We're all degenerate gamblers, so it seemed like a perfect spot. That would be a great spot to do it. For sure, you guys. Hey, look, 51 minutes in, you guys. I think I'm going to head to bed here pretty soon. But I appreciate all you guys hanging out with me on Ask Wheezy. We answered a lot of questions today. Tomorrow at 7:15 Central Time, 7:15 Central Time, probability. You guys, we're definitely going to be looking at all these fights. We're going to be updating the lines just before the show goes live to see where we can find value. When the fight doesn't go over 2.5, under 2.5, over 1.5, under 2.5. So, yeah, man, this is what we got to do. We got to put in the research. When we put in the research, when we watch all the tape, it allows us to stack cash tickets like flapjacks, you guys. We have got to do this. We've got to make money, and we got to take these bookies out to the woodshed and make sure that we stack cashed tickets like flapjacks. Check us out, MMA Engine YouTube channel tomorrow night, 7:15 for probability. And we got Octeris saying, hey, Wheezy, I'm super late, but just wanted to say I hope you're doing well. Octeris, thanks for hanging out, my man. Mushroom saying 12:23 on the East Coast. Thanks for hanging out late. Alex Ramirez giving the peace sign. Papa Chuck saying great show. Looking forward to tomorrow night's show. Rest up. Absolutely will. You guys, it's great to hang out with you guys. Let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC Vegas 53, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night on the MMA Engine YouTube channel for probability. God bless each and every one of you guys. Let's go.